The MCU for the past few years has been trash. Let's not beat around the bush here. The movies have been subpar. Marvel shows have gone from hit or miss to downright disrespectful. It's no surprise that Disney Plus lost a hefty near 12 million subscribers this past year. We have become tired of the low effort, formulaic format Marvel Studios have been dumping on our lap for the better part of 3 years now. Honestly, the fact that Marvel even decided to restart Daredevil again and is finally restructuring their entire television division because they failed to deliver television series that actually felt of high quality and instead wanted to disguise them as overly long cut up movies, labeling them as 6-part events to distract from the fact that they don't know how to produce shows that keeps audiences over the age of 12 engaged. Now, was that too rough? Maybe, but this is coming from a place of frustration because Marvel is one of my favorite fictional universes, and seeing that they're being mishandled now as DC was back in 2017 is heartbreaking. It has gotten to the point where I'm questioning whether or not the MCU as a whole should just reboot. No, like, I'm serious. The movies have gone downhill and the shows no longer have the same level of pop that they did back in 2021, and the movies that are coming out soon feel like I can just skip over because they feel like filler to me. Actors like Jonathan Major and Tanouk Huerta, I'm pretty sure that's how I say his name, have been in the trenches with sexual assault charges lately, which is not only a problem for obvious reasons, but one of these guys is literally the main character of your entire franchise for the time being. So you have Kang, right? And he is the main bad guy of this entire saga. Now that's up in the air because we don't know what's going on, so they have to push Avengers back, and they fired the writers for those movies too, so that's another problem. So they now have to look for new writers, and it's just a massive mess. And not only that, but the movies that I am looking forward to, like Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, they are not even anywhere close to shooting. So we have the strikes that are going on, and that's halting everything. And we have Deadpool coming out as well, which is, it looks like it's going to be another like event movie in which that it's going to be more like a fun, enjoyable movie rather than something that I'm going to watch in the next few years and be like, wow, this is a great piece of art. And I'm just tired of those type of movies now, and the MCU hasn't really been giving that lately, and I'm using that term loosely. Lately, it's been 3 years now. I'm glad that Kevin Feige and Marvel looked at Daredevil, re-examined it, and said, this is terrible, let's start over and let's try something new. Let's try something that can be up there with the Netflix series. But how bad does a show have to be, considering that they looked at the Ant-Man movie and they thought it was going to be a banger, and now they looked at the Daredevil scripts or the episodes that they shot and they said that it's a massive pile of shit. Like, how bad does it have to be? This is a disaster. Everything that could have possibly gone wrong here has surfaced, and I think it's not only necessary for the MCU to reboot, but I think it's going to benefit them in the long run. Alright, so you're now asking why? They now have the chance to showcase a Marvel universe with all its characters in their possession. Yes, I know Spider-Man is still with Sony, but considering how well the relationship has been for the past few years since Spidey's inclusion in the MCU, I don't think they would mind lending Spider-Man rights a little bit to Marvel while they can keep Tom Holland's Spider-Man for themselves, and they can just create a new version of Spider-Man specifically for this brand new universe. So I don't think they would mind, and you know, it's just more money for Sony at the end of the day. Like, you now have another property in a very popular iteration that could potentially make a lot of money for them. So I don't think Sony's gonna have a problem with it as long as they get a cut, which they're going to if this is gonna happen. Not to mention, as good as the MCU has been in phase 1 leading up to Avengers, it's very clear that Marvel was only using characters like Iron Man and Captain America because they didn't have their heavy hitters. They didn't have their X-Men, right? They didn't have a Fantastic Four with them, so they had to go with their, with their B-level characters, and they made a great, it was the right move. It made them a ton of money. But now they have the chance to really just delve deep with Marvel characters and show everybody a new iteration of what Marvel in the cinematic landscape could be. The only thing I would add personally is this time, if they do something like this, for them to be far less restrictive with their tone. I think one of the reasons why Marvel in general has been so well liked is because you have these characters from vastly different backgrounds, vastly different tones. It's crazy seeing something like a street level character like Daredevil interact with like a god being like Thor, right? So for them to really just like delve deep to how much different these characters are, I think it's a plus for them, and it's something that they haven't done since phase 1 in my opinion. And not only that, but come on, let's be real here. I'm not exactly drawn into the MCU now with characters like Captain Marvel or Captain America leading this new MCU. It's not that I dislike them or anything, but there isn't really any presence there like it was with Tony and Steve when they were alive. Just nothing about these new heroes really interests me enough to carry this universe. Not to mention that the OGs they have standing now have either seemingly retired, died, or have been done so dirty by the filmmakers that they are now just seen as jokes. Like, I'm not excited to see Shang-Chi or any of these other characters. They just don't interest me as much. Rebooting also means we could potentially, and I mean that very loosely, see Kevin Feige take a step back from producing all these projects. He just doesn't seem to have the passion that he showed during the Infinity Saga when it was at its peak. I just think being a creator for so long in the same franchise only hurts him creatively. It's clear that the formula for these movies are becoming outdated. Some might even say that it's been outdated during Endgame. Bringing in a new, fresh, creative team and having them create a new Marvel movie franchise iteration would only give the brand the jumpstart they need to get back on track. Deadpool 3 will probably be a lot of fun, and getting Hugh Jackman back sounds like it can be incredible, but his time as Wolverine is done. It has been done since Logan, and it feels like a natural end for his character. Avengers Secret Wars is rumored to have Tobey Maguire come back as a more significant role compared to No Way Home, but honestly that doesn't excite me nearly as much as if they would have just done a Spider-Man 4 with Sam Raimi. The DCU is on the horizon, and just like in my first ever video, and I still do think it's gonna overtake the MCU because they're starting over. They looked back at what they did wrong previously and decided to avoid making those mistakes and now have a new game plan, and it looks like the DCU might honestly be something incredible. Now, I'm not suggesting that they're gonna reach the same heights as the MCU did back during 2018, but there is massive potential there. I just hope Marvel realizes this before it's too late. Anyways guys, that's it for the video. Let me know whether you guys agree or disagree. We can discuss more about it in the comments. I know this is a short video, however I promise that I will be making more content, but I promise that I'm going to continue uploading more. In fact, I'm actually planning on buying better equipment for this channel. So for the time being, this is all I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.